Now let's look at the left hand fingering for O Holy Night. So we are in the key of C. We're going to start off the first few measures are in arpeggio here that we're walking up and down. So we're going to do that twice. As soon as we hit measure 2 though, we're going to drop that C at the top and it just becomes root form C chords in the left hand. Alright, at measure number 3, halfway through, we're going to change it to an F. So nice and simple there, we're going to use fingers 2 and 1. And at measure 4, we're back down to the C. We're going to play that C a few more times until we get there to measure number 5. Halfway through, you'll notice it changes to a G7. So down we go, 5, 2, 1 for the G7. And then we get to measure number 6. And then we have that arpeggiated, that C arpeggio again. Okay, at measure 7, this is going to feel very much like the beginning of the song because it is just a repetition. Measure number 8, second half, we're going to open up the top of the hand and then back down at measure number 9. Now at this point, there is a pivot over there at the E diminished. You're going to have to come over with finger number 2 to the B flat. Okay? And you can keep finger 3 there on the E because we are going to need that for measure 10. There is an E and it's an E minor chord. So we're going to just use fingers 3, 2 since they're already there. And we're going to do it actually twice in a row because after we play that E minor twice, we have to find that B down there. And using finger 5 would be better there actually than well, we'll need finger 5 there, but that's also the reason why we're not going to straighten out the hand here on the E minor. We want to keep that finger 5 free so that we can hit that B there halfway through. We're just going to keep fingers 3, 2, and 1 there. Why not? Because then 3, 2, and 1, they take over right over here. So just to show you that one more time, taking it from measure number 9 at the beginning, we've got a C chord. We're going to play that 3 times, and then there is a pivot over using finger 2. Keep fingers 1 and 3 there, and now you're going to play that E minor twice at measure number 10 using fingers 3, 2, 1. Reach down, B, fingers 5, 3, 2. You're going to do that twice. And then it's just a matter of slipping back up there to the E minor. The second time you play it at measure number 11, then I would straighten out the hand and just use the traditional 5, 3, 1 fingering again. All right, we'll get to measure 12 now. So G7, we're going to open up to the G7 that we had previously in measure number 5. You're going to play that 4 times before resolving it back into that C root form at measure number 13. 14, we're going to go back to that G7, nothing new there. 4 times, and then at measure 14 we are going to play that C again. Okay, so that should be pretty comfortable. At measure 16 we start to hit some minor chords. I've kept them in the root form, so you've got that A minor 4 times, and then you've got the E minor 4 times. Oh goodness. Measure number 17. And then at measure 18 there's the D minor 4 times, and then at 19 the A minor again 4 times. All right, so if we just stick with the 5, 3, 1 fingering, it's no problem. Once you get to 20, you're going to go down to the G. Now this feels a little bit awkward. It's probably more comfortable to then just substitute finger 2 onto that C. It's also better technique. And then we're going to need fingers 5, 2, 1 anyways for the G7 over D, the second half of measure number 20. And then at 21, we're going to go back down to that C over E, and then just on down to the F root form 5, 3, 1. All right, so that is measures 19 to 21. We start with an A minor. We move down to a C inversion. We substitute finger 2 there for finger 3. It's just better form. And then these top 2 are going to go up for that G7 over D. And then we're going to come back down, keep that same combination of fingers 5, 2, and 1. And then down to the F 5, 3, 1. At measure 22, we're going back to C over E, and then when we go to the G7, we do that C twice. Up we come to the G7, also for 2, using fingers 1 and 2. At measure 23, we get back into that C tonic root inversion, like that. Now, first ending, down to the G, to typical fingering 5-3-1. But when you get to the G7, we're going to just open up the hand so that you can hit this F here. You'll notice I've used 5 and 4 and 2 and 1 right over here. That's probably a good hand shape to do that. Even if you even want to start playing the G there, using finger 4, it might feel a little bit weird. So it's not a big deal to just start it with traditional 5-3-1 fingering and then switch it up at the second half of bar 24. You're going to walk up and down that chord, and then we go into the C, and you'll notice at bar 25 we're on a C there. We're going to use 3-2-5 just to play that C chord the first time. The second time you can swap that out, because at the F, so bar 25, the second half, we have to go up into this F inversion here. So the first time there at 25, we're going to play the C inversion, or the C root form 3-2-1. The second time, we're going to use 5-3-1. Then we switch to the F inversion, 5-2-1, and we're going to just keep that for 2. Down we come, back to the C, traditional fingering there. Now here we have, again, that G7 arpeggiated chord. So again, 5-4 and then 2-1. Walking back down, use 3-2-1 at bar 27 to start off. The second time, substitute in proper fingers, and this will take you back to the beginning of the song. So now to negotiate the second ending, we will once again pick it up from bar 23 like we did previously with the right hand. At the end of bar 23, you are playing a C, and you're going to use fingers 5, 3, and 1. Now we're going to skip ahead to the second ending at bar 28. We're just going to skip down, playing a G chord very typically. Then we need a G7. Second half of 28 is a G7, so we'll use 2 and 1 there at the top. And then the C over E, we've got a C inversion down there, so we'll keep finger number 2 in there in place of finger 3. Once we get down to the F at second half of bar 29, we're going to use 5-3-1 there. And then here we're just going to pick up the whole hand and play that C in its root form at bar 30. For the G7, you've seen this one before. We just drop down, and that takes us then all the way to bar 31. And we're going to play those arpeggios there one more time. So the right hand joins in with a C and an E, and a C here in the left hand. Now, if you want to play a full octave there, that probably sounds good too, even though that is not written in. So that is the left hand for O Holy Night.